Man, this movie had so much potential. I don't know what happened. Very quick, if you are new here, I like to cover those movies that get less coverage and less talked about. Just try and find a hidden gem for one myself, and also maybe add it to your watch list. So if you are new, please do hit subscribe. Anyway, on with the review. Fallen. Now, Fallen really gripped me with the kind of blurb for this movie. Basically, in this, we're following Father Abraham. Now, he has conducted an exorcism early doors in the movie, and his soul had to be kind of cast out into the woods, out from society, and he's haunted from his past. That premise could have been very intriguing. Don't know why they made certain decisions along the way here, but we'll try and break some of them down. So the opening to this is really cliche, and I'll be honest, boring first few shots until he moves out and, you know, the credits roll. Shows him in the church. He's just your everyday father conducting a church ceremony, but then this suspicious guy comes in, says he needs his service, so he conducts an exorcism. And next thing we see, he's out in the woods, out in the middle of nowhere with him and his daughter. I don't know how much time has passed. The movie doesn't quite elapse that. He's grown the big beard, so it's kind of story 101 that a lot of time's passed. But why he's been cast out is they reference this thing called the darkness early in the movie, and it's referenced on radio as well, where it just seems like a lot of shit's going down in the cities, maybe rioting, looting, kind of ambiguously advises that these demons, or at least hell, is kind of coming back and it's taking over a little bit. Unfortunately, we don't see much of that, which is a shame. This movie takes place, for the most part, minus a few flashbacks, out in the woods. Once that intro rolls through and we're past the kind of setup to this movie, it does look gorgeous. It does feel very amateur filmmaker, which isn't necessarily a negative, because I do feel a lot of amateurs, they've got ideas, they're trying to be creative, and so you do end up getting some beautiful and cinematic shots and the ways of storytelling. Unfortunately, the shots alone here is not good enough to carry this movie. So our main actor, Father Abraham, I don't know why, but he talks like Batman, like the old Christian Bale Batman, and he's not very likeable, because, so yeah, he's dealing with his demons, well, his past and haunts him, but also demons as well. He's also gone a little bit mad from being in isolation and being within this house. That would have been interesting to explore. It's very ham-fisted. He kind of just goes from 0 to 60 and how intense he gets in almost any given scene. Now, his daughter is in a wheelchair, the mother is not around, so there is a few questions raised here. The answer is not as satisfying as you might think it's going to be. All I will say is he's very invested in God, and his daughter was born that way. And there is a home helper that comes in and out, and he gets quite invested in the daughter, not romantically, but he clearly cares for her a lot and wants her to do well and take her out and see the world, because she is locked up in this house. But the dad has none of it, because he's aware that he's waiting on demons coming, and he is preparing for the end of the world as he was told to do so. And that preparation is key, because that raised a few questions for me, because he wasn't as prepared as I think he should have been. So when we're haunted by his past, how they demonstrate that in here is that something will happen, or we'll have a scene, and then it'll cut to a flashback, which kind of illustrates it a little bit. Now, I don't mind flashbacks when they're used effectively, or play a lot of focus in the narrative here, but there's a lot of them here, so they're not even used sparingly. They're really just thrown in because they could not find the way to discuss that story beat in the modern day, unfortunately. The acting is very rigid. As I said, Father Abraham is not likeable to start with. He talks very gruff. Because you don't like him, you don't really care or empathise for him that he is going a little bit mad or that he is isolated here. We just don't know quite where it's going to go, his relationship with him and his daughter, or even what happened previously. There is a couple of action-y orientated scenes in here. They are played very well. I did thoroughly enjoy them. However, the demons in this movie, they're just pale, almost alien/demons in here, and they come and go in the movie very quickly. He's not only haunted by his past, there are actual demons in this world, and his house is clearly prepared for this. You know, defensively, and even when he's trying to fight them and hunt them down. He knows his house inside and out. There's a lot of safety measures that he's clearly built into his house, and that I always love to see, that they've taken that early initiative. Not all the action's good though. There is one fight in particular that takes place in a flashback between him and his wife. Let's just say it's a little bit rigid, and clearly the acting's not great, and I'm probably going to throw it on screen just now, just so you can see exactly what I mean by how bad it is. And one thing I did notice, it might just be me, I play a lot of From Software games. Is that, or is that not, the hollowing meme? And his daughter throughout this movie, you know, she is mute for the most part. She's really not up for talking, especially to him, and I fully understand why. But she doesn't talk to her helper either. What I would have loved to have seen here is him overcoming his nightmares or internal demons from his past in really effective ways, or at least show what they are in an effective way, not just cut into a flashback. And without going into major spoilers here, there is references in the movie that he's read a lot of books and he had to become a father and get into the role that he's in just now. For the ultimate part of this movie, there are some clear instructions he needs, all I will say, and he's not read them. He knows what he's going to be up against, and he's not fully read these instructions because he reads them, something happens, it takes him away from the book, and then he comes back to read the rest of the book and realises what he's done isn't effective. You would have thought, especially he's got all this time to kill, that he would have just fucking read exactly what he needs to do, because he's prepared his house, he's prepared everything he possibly can, but not read what to do. It just, why, Father Abraham? Now, although his acting is not the best, he's probably the worst of the three, which is unfortunate as well, because you're with him for most of it. His daughter is really good. Although she's mute for most of it, you're seeing a lot of what she wants to say on her face, which is great acting. And then even when she does begin speaking, again, she's really good and she holds the movie strong. Now, I understand the message of this movie is really just giving yourself over and allowing yourself to be overtaken by your past and your paranoia and your fears, but even still, it was very ham-fisted at the end of the movie here. And very lastly, it's another movie with chapters in it. These chapters, the titles of them are spoiling what is about to take place. I don't know about you, but personally, if I see a chapter in a movie that's named, my brain just starts working and trying to understand how that title is about to feed into the next part, and it's all I can think about. It's like being told that a character is going to die in a movie. So anytime they're on scene, you're trying to work out if this is the one they die in. I can't help myself but work out why that chapter's titled as such. Every second that passes with this chapter, it lasts maybe anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes, is when that twist is going to come in, and it does ruin a couple of the twists that, had they not had chapters, it would have just played out fine. So where am I going to be landing this one? If you have nothing else to watch, put it on. It looks downright gorgeous for a lot of the movie, to be fair. The acting does need a little bit of work on it, but it's got a compelling story and it does come full circle in the end. So it's not going to be an absolute bottom of the barrel for me, it's just a little bit above that. Look, that was just some of my thoughts on Fallen. Have you seen it? If you have, let me know down below if we agree or disagree. And if you are new here, please do hit subscribe, that'd be much appreciated. But thank you so much for watching.